My parents told my brother to take over my house since I don't have a family of my own. They arrived unannounced last Tuesday afternoon. I was making coffee when I heard car doors slam shut. Looking through my window, I saw my parents, my brother, his wife, and their two children stepping out of two cars. I hadn't shared my address with them. Before I could open the door, my mom was already turning the handle. They walked in like they owned the place. The kids immediately ran to the spare bedrooms. My sister-in-law had that familiar smirk, the same one she wore at family dinners when she made snide remarks about my dating life. My dad didn't even greet me. He just scanned my living room and said, "There's way too much space here." My mom was already rifling through my kitchen cabinets, complaining that I didn't have enough dishes for a proper family. My brother paced down the hallway, measuring door frames with his hands. I asked what they were doing here. My mom said they needed to discuss my living arrangements. That's when my brother's oldest child, who's 7, asked if this was going to be their new home. When no one answered, the kid repeated it louder. My brother told him maybe, and to go play outside. I felt my chest tighten. My dad pulled me aside into my bedroom. He sat on my bed without asking and said, "My brother needed this house more than I did. He has 2 kids, his wife is 4 months pregnant with their third, and they're cramped in my parents' home. I'm 32, single, no girlfriend, no prospects," according to him. So, it supposedly made perfect sense. I told him nothing about this made sense. He ignored me and said my brother would be moving in November 1st, 3 weeks away, and I could take the camper in my backyard. The camper I lived in for 8 months after losing my job and apartment during the pandemic. The same camper I drove to their house in July 2020, desperate, asking if I could park it in their driveway for a few weeks while I got back on my feet. My mom called it an eyesore. My dad said their house was already full and they didn't want me bringing my problems to their doorstep. My brother and his wife laughed, called me a bum, and posted pictures of my truck on social media with crying, laughing emojis. Now, that camper was apparently good enough for me. I told them to leave my house immediately. My mom's face crumpled, tears welling up as she accused me of being selfish and tearing the family apart over pride. My brother said I didn't deserve the house anyway, that I had no one to fill the rooms with, no family to build here, so why was I hoarding the space? His wife added it was closer to my brother's job, had better schools for their kids, and I should be happy to support family. My dad claimed they'd consulted a lawyer, and since they co-signed some paperwork years ago, they had legal options. That was false. They never co-signed anything for me. I walked over to my desk, opened my laptop, and scrolled back to an email from 6 months ago, May 23rd, the day I closed on the house. I'd been ecstatic and sent my entire family an email with photos. In that message, I offered my brother the spare bedroom for $400 a month, utilities included, so he could save money and I could pay down the mortgage faster. It was a sincere offer. My dad replied 2 hours later. "I'll never forget his words. Your brother would never live under your roof. You've always been jealous of his success and family. Be grateful we even acknowledge you exist. Delete this email." I never deleted it. I turned the laptop toward them and read my dad's exact reply aloud. "You said your brother would never live under your roof. You said I should be grateful you acknowledge I exist. So why are you standing in my house right now demanding I give it to him?" Silence fell on the room. My sister-in-law's smug smile disappeared. My mom stopped crying mid-sentence. My brother looked at my dad like he'd been misled. My dad's face flushed red, and he said it was different now. That was before his wife got pregnant again. I asked how many kids they intended to have in my 3-bedroom house. My dad stood up and stepped toward me. I held firm and told him he had exactly 60 seconds to get his family out of my home before I called the police for trespassing. They left without another word. As they climbed into their cars, I watched from my porch. My brother glanced back once with a confused look like he truly didn't understand why I refused. That's when I realized he probably never knew about the email. My parents never told him I had made the offer. They'd planned this whole thing expecting me to cave. I went inside, locked the door, and blocked every phone number they had.